Martin Van Buren said, the less government interferes with private pursuits, the better for general prosperity. You know how government interferes with private pursuits? Well, there's several different ways. Over-regulation is one. And most people don't feel like we are under-regulated. Few do. But they're generally the people that like to run HOAs anyway. The other way government interferes with private pursuits is by taking your money. It's called taxation. Excessive taxation is excessive interference. And there's no question we're in an over-regulated and excessive taxation environment. And that's not because that we hate poor people. On the contrary, poor people are best served by any institution other than the government. And that would include communities, that would include churches, and that would include individuals. And by the way, that's biblical. There's nowhere in Scripture that the government is used to care for those who are marginalized as an act of charity. Somehow we've gotten a group of people who have equated increased taxation as a charitable act for the poor, and it's not. A lot of debate and talk about that with the GOP tax bill passing this weekend and gone to conference. So we'll see what it ends up being. Doesn't appear to be that big a change. And it's really interesting that the griping and the whining and the carping from both sides of the aisle. I mean, I'm amazed that some of you friends of mine that are, big-time conservatives have lost their ability to think clearly in the name of politics. I guess it's always been that way. I guess I'm getting old and I'm just observing the whole Trump and Hillary debacle where we had two horrible candidates of horrible character, and we were supposed to choose between them. And really, you were left with choosing not the person in either case, but instead in the ideology that you believed in, the ideas or the issues that they believed in, and trying to align yourself with one of those or the other. And you were stuck with that. But in the middle of that, there's people that actually are enthralled with the quality of either one of them's character, which is just astounding to me. It's just astounding that you would really look at either one of them's character and go, oh my gosh, that is just a virtuous person. Come on. You've got to be kidding me. Yeah, it's amazing. But people just lose their, I have friends, if you don't say that Trump is the most wonderful man that's ever lived, and that everything negative that's ever been said about him is a lie, they won't hardly speak to you anymore. And that's absurd. It's absurd. And I know other people feel the same way about Hillary, and that's absurd. So it's just, people have lost their minds out here. I don't know whether it's a 24/7 news cycle with these news channels just constantly trying to drum up ratings by making you angry at the other side. But regardless of that, you're still responsible for your critical thought. So, where does all that come from? The less government interferes with private pursuits, the better for general prosperity. Martin Van Buren. Interesting. Other thing that's interesting to me, I was thinking about this morning, people that are so against capitalism and are for this wealth inequality movement generally call themselves progressives. And the people that run Facebook, I think we can all safely say they're progressives. And the people that run Amazon, I think we can all safely say they're progressives. Bezos, Zuckerberg, right? People running Apple, I think you can safely say they're progressives. People running Google, I think you can safely say they're progressives, liberals. 4 of the biggest, most controlling companies in the world, and very successful, provide incredible. I do business with every one of them. They provide incredible service. And we work with Google. We work with Apple products. We work with, I'm not personal friends with any of those guys, but very interesting that, I mean, very, very left-wing. And so if you believe in wealth inequality, you know, let me just tell you, Teddy Roosevelt, probably the first progressive, probably would break up all 4 of those companies. They're pretty much the Standard Oil of our day. I mean, you technically under antitrust, they don't fall there. But if the 4 of them, if they all want to move against something in an industry that they're in, it pretty much wipes the slate clean. I mean, it's like a glacier coming through. It scrapes everything off. And so it's very interesting to me that these progressives run this, these liberals run these things, and everybody just stands back and does business with them left and right, which is awesome. I'm not mad about it. I'm doing business with them. I think they all provide good service, every one of them. I mean, you can throw Microsoft in there if you want to, too. Bill Gates, right? It's another liberal, not a conservative, you know. And so 4 or 5 of the most successful, largest businesses that completely own and dominate, I mean completely dominate, 800-pound gorilla, their spaces. I mean, Facebook, it's a complete domination. Google, complete domination. Apple's close, you know. And certainly Amazon, just wiping entire industries out, left and right. And it's just competition. It's the way it works. I'm not mad about it, but it's just it's intriguing to me that some of you that are left wingers don't think anything about those 4 companies or 5 companies, and you don't think anything about the fact that the beginning of the progressive movement, for all practical purposes, from an economic standpoint, for sure, was Teddy Roosevelt. The breaking up of the monopolies, the Standard Oils, the robber barons is what he called them, the J.P. Morgans, right? And so on, and I don't agree with it, but I mean, I don't agree with monopolies, but you know, these guys are technically not in violation of antitrust. Don't misunderstand, but they control their space. They control their space, and it's just interesting that we do get so caught up in our point of view that we not only don't hear the other side, but we, more importantly than not hearing the other side, I don't have any desire to listen to people who are wrong. I get that. I don't have any issue with that. But I'm intrigued by the fact that we've lost our ability to critically think through something because we get so caught up in pigeonholing ourselves. Like, you know, if I'm for conservative values, I automatically have to worship Donald Trump. And I got to tell you, I don't. And yet, I'm definitely economically a conservative. Socially, I'm a conservative. I'm probably economically a libertarian, probably. Because I would go with Martin Van Buren here. The less government interferes with private pursuits, the better for general prosperity. It's kind of an economic statement, right? It's very interesting times we live in, you guys. But my challenge for you guys, our listeners, is not to make you mad. If you want to get mad at me, that's fine. Get in line. Crap, there's a whole bunch of people mad at me. It generally means, though, that you got your head stuck so far up your politics you can't think anymore. And that's what we keep running into. And I know people who I respect their intellect who have slipped a gear, man. They have lost their ability to think through things all through the paradigm of Republican or Democrat, conservative or liberal, Trump or Hillary. And they get twisted in that, and then they try to use some kind of toxic version of Scripture to justify their existence. Oh, my goodness gracious, you are really reaching there. Wow. Yeah, you need to establish what you believe independent of the personalities that are involved, including this one. Learn to think for yourself. That's what we teach you around here all the time. And we'll help you either way, by the way. If you're a left-wing wacko, I'll help you. If you're a right-wing wacko, I'll help you. We love you, and we're here to take care of you. That's what we'll do.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, click the subscribe button to get the latest content and check out these other great clips from the show.